Welcome back, everybody. I'm Bear Bryant, joined again, for the first time today at least, with Christopher Bromley. And we are excited to announce, everybody, that the way that the bracket's kind of working out, and because I told you all at the beginning of the day, we're going to be streaming both of the top 4 matches. One side of the bracket's already ready. Now, on the other side of the bracket, we're still waiting on one of the matches to be done, which is why there wasn't an update yet. But we're going to be able to jump into Calvin Harrigal, Wub, who we just saw, versus George's Porco deck. But before that, we have to give the people what they want.
We have to give the boys at home, okay, something cool to look at, some eye candy, you know?
Candy? Like
a card?
Like a card.
Like a card!
From Guilty Gear Strive, of course. We have this upcoming set for next month. We saw an attack last round, so we have another one for you guys as well. Also with the infinity symbol, 5 difficulty 3 check, 5 mid for 3, 1 high block, Wild Assault, has tension and charge, and has a response that says, after you play this card, your rival spends 1 momentum. So once again, like the first card we saw today with the infinity action that has like some momentum, a Roman cancel hate, this attack right here as well, while it has tension, I'm going to get myself a Roman cancel token, but if you have one, I'm going to make you.
Rid of it.
Yeah.
And it's playable on a block, too.
Absolutely,
with a very good block. This is something I really like to see. As somebody who plays a lot of defensive cards, oftentimes defensive cards have the bad block modifiers, and those are the ones I want to block with.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to see something that's like, hey, this is a defensively oriented card, right? It's a disruptive tool that also has, like, it's not overcosted for it, quote unquote. So,
yeah.
I mean, and you're somebody who's on design, okay? It's no secret, okay? But and if I step over a line, tell me otherwise. But tell me why. Do you know why this has the infinity symbol on the other card? Because this is a move from somebody else, right?
I think it's just the realm where, in a world where, so we showed off the Roman cancel detention mechanic, obviously, and it's very eye popping. It's very scary. It changes the dynamic of what momentum represents in our game of UniVersus. So of course, everyone should have a tool at their disposal that is, shows the world where you're allowed to play the mechanic as well, but there should also be answers to it involved as well. As we saw from the action card, here's another one, an infinity one, and it's not like it's overstated, right? It's 3 damage move. Of course, it gives you a momentum, so you can use that later and pay it forward. But like you said, even if you're playing a 3-check block trick that has momentum hate, we just think something like this should exist in case right off the get-go the Roman cancel mechanic or the tension mechanic gets a little too strong. But we also have your bracket update here for Dawson Milstead 1 on the other side of the bracket. So we have 2 Porco decks in our top 4, and we're just waiting to find out on which of their opponents is going to be Phil Birch or Matt Childress. But we're going to move into the other side of the bracket. Like we said, we're going to be jumping straight in. Wub, we just saw already. You guys showcased an incredible match where Wub had to come from behind after losing game 1. 2 games in a row, had to win.
Yep.
And here we have his Devil Jin list.
Yeah, I think the name of the game in this one is going to be Inspiring Song, because Porco's attack strings are on, as a very famous philosopher I know says, razor-thin margins, okay? So I think that's going to be the card that if it comes up, it will come up in the big way, in a small way, but do some very big things for the match. And on the other hand, we have George, I forget George's last name.
Ranzel?
Ranzel?
It's I think it's RA. We're George here playing Porco Galliard on the fire symbol, and very straightforward. I'm excited to commentate Porco because I think he is very intricate, and this is a very well-structured deck. Lots of 4-ofs. We want to find the good ones that enable this character, and at the end of the day, the name of the game is teaming with the attack titan on those attack strings.
Yeah,
and
on both sides of the table.
For everybody at home as well, this is actually a rematch from Swiss.
Yeah.
And based off of the final standings, you can kind of assume that Wub actually ended up winning the match in Swiss. Wub being able to go first. I think he went first, won the die roll during Swiss.
Yes.
Going to be able to go first again. But they both said that it both came down to just check a 5.
Yeah.
And so it is a razor-thin margin type of match that we're going to watch here. And our players are ready to jump in, and so we are too.
Getting a 3 build off the rip here. And I was saying a little bit to Jesse that this match is gonna on George's side at least, Barrier Shield can do some very tricky things here. It's very good for Porco. He's one of the few characters who can use it offensively and defensively. Not for its enhance ability, but just because when it's in the card pool, it does not contribute towards progressive difficulty. And Porco's sort of his bit of detail on his character card that lets him add cards back to hand from card pool is that, hey, they are going to get replaced with something from hand. And so Barrier Shield is one of the few cards, I think maybe the only card in the format for him that says that, hey, actually, I'm not adding to card pool
Yeah.
progressive, right? I'm actually subtracting from it when I pick up this card.
There's even some cheeky tricks too, where you can like pick the attack back up, shove in a foundation, and with cards like Forcing Surrender on the
Kick 'em out
fire,
of the card
you
pool.
can kick them out. So you actually get rid of the detriment that would normally be said otherwise. But a solid build 5, I think, over there on the side for George.
Yeah.
And so we're going to keep the 3 cards in our hand because we were a 7-hander and we went second. We have a bonus one. But Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken is the lead-in attack here from Calvin. Regardless if this is a kill turn or not, being able to freeze down one of these foundations, such as this Marley's Warriors, means we're not going to have access to that incredible plus to our check for the entire turn for Porco next turn.
Yeah, and so we're going to be going with a block with the barrier shield here. Okay, not using it as an enhance. And here's a camouflage counter. So there's a genuine sort of toss-up between what do you freeze? Is it the Marley's Warriors for the check, or is it the latent skill for the dig?
Yeah.
You're playing into a 7-hander as a 5-hander. You know, latent skill, or as I like to call it, Latino skill, as a a resident Miami native, is a card that can make or break a game. Often, and is often the discard is a bonus with a character who has all of these cards that do something when they hit the discard pile.
We see 2 copies of Lust for Battle in our stage
Already.
and you would think that that would be a detriment in the sense of like we don't have those to discard with latent skill, but we also did build a Frightening Calm. So on our own turn, we can not only give our attack stun, but we can give minus checks to our opponents. But that relies on us living this turn, Bromley.
Yes,
because
it sure does.
Like you said, we're a 7-hander. We only have 24 health to play with, and Deviljin is a king at outputting damage over and over again.
And he's certainly already used the barrier shield from hand to block with, right? He does not have that to get an oh crap handle and press the button to put an attack to 0 speed. There's no equipment heist shenanigans going on here, but how many of those do you need to do 24 damage? We could certainly see a team with the Attack Titan do something crazy, and so we are going to get the 5 to block this one. Wow.
Yeah, great low block having the I'm with you from hand just to get things going, because I think although Calvin is down to just play the Vast Hybrid, get the commit and freeze on that Marley's Warriors, not connecting at all means George is going to feel a lot more impactful and safe when it comes to the next turn after this, because now building for Calvin is going to be a little more difficult. As we check a 3 here on this Inspiring Song, and you said how impactful this card might be in this matchup.
Song. Yeah, I think that you never want to commit Broken Psyche, right, to get these to pass the check, but we didn't get any momentum this turn, right?
Yeah.
George did just happen to have the right block zones and happen to check the right numbers as well. And so we didn't get any damage through. That doesn't mean the game is over. George here only ripping 2 attacks to start with. But we're going to see him go for it and maybe dig for... Okay, checks a 3, goes to 4.
Not only is it 2 attacks, but that teaming with the Attack Titan is one of those ones that we can't even realistically
start with.
think about playing until there's like 2 more attacks in our card pool.
Yeah. So interesting. We talked a little bit about the Frightening Calm earlier. Oh, it's already on the board. But with the Lust for Battles on the table, it's kind of like a 2-speed swing, right? Because it's stun 1, and then it's also Lust for Battles getting the trigger. So we're gonna see if and when George decides to go all the way in, right? He's going to discard 2 cards here, and that's really going to determine it. Discards 2.
That's the 4th one.
Of the Bing Bongs. This has happened every time I've watched this deck.
But Lust for Battle, that's the 4th one in the entire deck, right? One was already there as we tried to use it defensively, and then we now have the I'm with you for even more damage. And this is a Hell Spider, so we're going to be getting additional speed to all of our moves.
Broken Psyche's playable while committed?
Yeah, it grabs a 6 check
Picks
after
up
you
a
take
6
damage.
You know it's a 6 check?
The schemes.
The schemes are all 6 checks, bro?
I think they're all 6 checks.
Maybe not all.
I can't remember. I don't think all of them are.
Yeah, but Equipment Heist certainly is. And George here did not get the attacks he needed.
So just to build a couple more and pass.
Yeah, build, pass, hold 3 to block with. One of them is a barrier shield, though.
Yeah.
Right? So we have the tools on board. The things that I talked about being important are on the table.
But we gave our opponent, at the cost of giving them an Equipment Heist to start the turn off with because of that response from that Broken Psyche. Immediately, we saw this have success against EJ at Game 3, right? Even though you check an attack on the scheme, you can add it in, draw your card with the Deviljin response, and only have to commit 1 foundation.
And draw another and discard 1 with the Equipment Heist, you know? This is something that's interesting because I often see, Deviljin players hold their response, right? Because they want to go deep or whatever. But for Calvin, it's he really values the card draw, you know, and immediately getting the
Yes,
equipment heist.
this is immediately going to be live for this equipment heist.
Yeah.
So these things like Massive Mutant Machine can come into the stage very quickly.
Yeah.
And who needs the extra plus to your check from the Devil Jin response when you just need to play less attacks because I'm against a 24 life character?
Yeah. It's interesting to talk about, or talk to you specifically about this, because you have some eyes behind the curtain. In my day, back in my day, there wasn't a whole lot of deck searching, right?
Yeah.
And if there were, they were on cards that checked like ones, right? Like Let's Party, and that was fairly new,
Yeah.
I think. In this new UVS Games run era, there's a lot of deck searching and actually not a whole lot of discard grabbing.
Yeah.
It's kind of the inverse of what I remember being the case.
Yeah, definitely like a shift, especially with even you see characters like Mimic get eroded because of how impactful he is when he grabs cards from his discard pile, and he's like, okay, maybe he's doing a little bit too much, so dialing it back, and he still has success because that is such an impactful ability. Meanwhile, like you said, Superfly Stomp, we're able to you can play it as a blitz and then search your deck for a card and put it in your discard pile, so that when characters like Devil Jin use the cards in their discard pile for their advantage, like, I don't know, this aerial Goblin Bolt that can help me be used on offense
cancel a Barrier Shield.
as long as it's in my card pool.
Yeah.
We can get these tools to play the game.
So here we see EJ using the Barrier Shield while he's had the opportunity to, saying, okay, there's a Goblin Bolt there. I'm going to use this thing here now. And blocking with a teaming.
Yeah, the low block on this does feel really good, and the breaker going off as well. And now that because there's a
equipment heist.
Yeah, there's just a real situation now as well where because of that breaker too, this is one of the strong defensive pieces that has access in this Porco deck because we've already used the Devil Jin response.
Yeah. And we didn't use Inspiring Song, so I think this is going to be a setup here to put a 6 on top of the deck, grab the equipment heist, and I mean, I think we're going to have to pass the turn back, right? The ball's going to go back into George's court, and if he draws another hand like he did last turn, it might be all she wrote for him. On the flip side, if he draws a very aggressive turn, boy howdy, could it end.
Yeah, exactly. We're definitely still making the decision here for the Ceratos form of which of these cards is going to go on top and when's going to go on bottom.
Right.
The question here is, do we actually want to put that equipment heist in our discard pile right now, even if it's the 6 check, or do we just want to put it on the bottom of our deck to maybe see at a later point in the game? Guess not. So it's going to be in our discard pile right now, even if it's the 6 check, or do we just want to put it on the bottom of our deck to maybe see at a later point in the game? Guess not. So we have a 6 check on top. The question is, do we continue to build that foundation we picked up? Yep. So we know that this is going to work because, of course, the equipment heist in our card pool doesn't count towards progressive difficulty. So it's on a 4, and we checked a 6.
Yeah. I mean, it's a scary place to be in as Calvin,
Yeah, still no momentum, no damage on the table. Passing back now with only 2 ready foundations, one of which being that Inspiring Song. So we have a little bit of counterplay, but now we've gone through the full turn cycle, and now that Marley's Warriors that we froze a couple turns ago is now back and ready to be used.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Those weren't the
And there's
droids.
no Latino skill on the board, Barrett.
Yeah, we've already used those kind of tools, and so we're probably going to have to spend another time setting up and playing good defense. And eventually you just start running out of these resources that you're trying to use to stay alive, like those barrier shields. And our deck is getting so thin as well.
Yeah, I mean, so this is the thing: is the Porco deck, right, really skews its power towards the early turns when it's doing its milling, right? When it's getting those cards out of the hand. But those cards don't do much on board unless you have Frightening Calm. And Frightening Calm is the only destroy trigger in the deck.
Yeah.
So if you don't find that tool, it's not doing anything. And so we're going to be building 3. We've got a healthy board here to try to block with, but no more barrier shield, right?
We actually did draw one.
We drew another one?
We did.
Oh, we just drawn one every turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure you would have liked to have drawn attacks instead of
Yes,
barrier shield.
absolutely.
But that's pretty cool.
But
Okay.
yeah, another lease on life here for Calvin, and we know that he already has this equipment heist because we picked it up from that Ceratos, and we still have access to the Ceratos now to use at some point during this turn. And if we check an attack right now, which we do, or no, we didn't. I saw the orange. It was on me.
It's okay. It's okay.
So it means we're not going to be able to have this equipment heist enhance ability in the card pool live on the first attack, but it will for sure be live on the next one.
So now that we've got equipment heist going, right, we are going to freeze over the Dark Ward, right, because now we can get our response. What response trigger would we look? Oh, Goblin Bolt.
It's just Goblin Bolt, yeah.
Protecting Goblin Bolt is a huge deal for this turn. So this tells me that
Also camouflage counter.
and camouflage counter. Okay, we still have one more Dark Ward on the board though.
Yeah, we do. So you have to. So only one thing can get canceled. But again, if we just play really good blocks, you never have to worry about the camouflage counter response as long as you don't take any damage from other attacks.
Yeah, still have Cerritos' form, I think.
We do
to available to us right here. And Frightening Calm can be used defensively.
You can blow up a foundation, yeah. It would give the opponent's attack stun, though. It does say this attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could use that to hit the Lust for Battle triggers, right?
Yeah, if we end up committing them to pass a check. But a mill 3 here from the Porco just to get more cards in our discard pile. And I think we actually just milled 3 Mighty Blitzes, which are the attacks that we wish we drew. But I think we're just trying to get to a cycle here from George because, like I said, that deck is getting very, very small.
Yeah, at this point, you know exactly what's in the deck if you do your number counting.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. So
That's
we're
a
seeing
low
here.
block.
I think he went for the stun. Stun's the lesser. What I was thinking was you could stun the lesser battle, right? Destroy it, give your opponent another stun,
You
stun
can
the
stab
other.
one. Yeah. I don't actually. Did we press the right? I thought it was more we went for the block on the I'm with you, and we checked a 5, so we committed one foundation.
Okay, that's
so ready now. It is playable. Now you can just blow up the first Lust for Battle and do the thing you just said, and all you do is commit the other Lust for Battle. But here we have a Superfly, or sorry, no, we played an Aerial Goblin Bolt from our hand, and then now shoved in a Superfly Stomp. So there's so many attacks in our card pool, and the Blitz ability on Aerial Goblin Bolt gets us a seal.
It's gonna seal that Dark Ward.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. Now both Dark Wards have been answered to, which means this Aerial Goblin Bolt response and this Camouflage Counter response is now playable as long as...
Oh, wait, we're searching the deck. Is this from the
Equipment Heist? We're gonna go grab... Oh, no, wait.
Or are we Superfly Stomp? I think we played the Superfly Stomp and then responded with Devil Jin to add the Aerial Goblin Bolt to the board. Okay, so we're not playing...
My bad.
It's okay,
I saw the order because it got moved in and we were moving in, but you're right. Superfly Stomp Blitz.
A more amateur a commentator would have not seen that, but a professional like myself,
true.
we find those things quite easy. Oh my God, a teaming's in the card pool.
Yeah, that one being added from the Devil Jin
yeah,
Enhance.
yeah.
And again, we still haven't pressed the Cerritos button either. So setting ourselves on our discard pile up, we still have an asset that we're about to search for as we're going to press that right now.
Yeah, here's the cycle from
Can
George.
only imagine the... Yeah, Airship is also a good call. Getting able to buy back one of these cards in our card pool and play it again, such as this teaming with the attack time that we just added to our card pool.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, once these attacks start hitting, and they will start hitting at some point,
the camouflage counters.
You're gonna have to start worrying about the camouflage counters, and I would assume we're gonna pick up this teaming with the attack titan with military airship. You certainly would have wanted. To see George get hit earlier in the game as Calvin, right?
Yeah.
But 24 is still very possible here. Removed 3 teaming with the Attack Titans and a Flashfire Fist is what I saw there.
Yeah.
Not what you want to see is George. Milling a third one into Besiege. Here's the airship picking up teaming.
There it is. It's in our hand. It's essentially a 1 difficulty attack, and then you have to add the progressives, of course, because we have so many attacks in our card pool. Of course, if things like the Aerial Goblin Bolt get flipped over, or if the Camouflage Counter leave our card pool from their effect, then they will actually not be the same difficulty. We have to do some different math, but an extra attack in our hand regardless for Calvin, that military now being used.
Here's the Frightening Calm being used, responding with Lust for Battle. We've got one more trigger to that, but we do have stun on it. So yeah, I'm gonna say, hey man, I'll stun that. Oh no,
there
hey.
Yep. The same play ready to go for the next time. Just trying to do a little bit of check hacking because again, that Devil Jin response has now been used.
Yeah.
So even though you have the teaming, depending on what the difficult or the check is going to be, you might actually start committing some foundations. But that's what I was going to bring up. Wub hasn't committed a single foundation this entire turn, and 2 of the cards are capture the target.
Yeah, and he still hasn't used Cerritos.
Yes.
So
yeah, we're gonna be able to stack our deck.
Yeah, I think. Okay, progressive difficulty does ramp up very quickly, especially when you play someone like Devil Jin.
Yes.
So realistically, I think even with the teaming with the Attack Titan in hand, there's probably between 2 and 4 attacks, right?
Yeah.
And I would skew on the lesser side of that. So George is hoping, praying, right, that these early blocks are going to mean that I think trying to go for the point where the barrier shield stops the one that does 20.
And man, crazy enough too, we held on to this mid block, and I'm pretty sure this is actually a full block. I think when we added the team of the Attack Titan Calvin did make it emit. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to find out here from the damage, but
No,
it looks like it was still kept it low,
Yeah, it's kept
which
low.
means, and here's what I think is going to happen, the camouflage counter response is going to be able to go
pick it up
live.
with Cerritos.
Going to be able to pick it up because you can readjust the order or just straight add it to your hand,
Yeah.
right? You can either leave it on top still or, of course, just add it and then put one on the
So
bottom.
he responds with it, going to respond with Dark Ward, but that means that Goblin Bolt is live. It means that George is valuing the camouflage counter cancel more than being able to protect the oh man. But here the capturing targets are just going to ready, right?
Yeah, so we actually took a 2 here, and this was on a 5 because of that
Yeah.
Lust for Battle. But yeah, 2 of those cards that we just committed are the capture the targets, and our first enhance is just ready to capture the
It's going
target.
to be ready these, and we still have Inspiring Song available to us.
Yes.
Whether it be for speed or for plus my own checks. I will assume it's going to be used for plus my own checks because, these games are on a tightrope.
Yeah. A rage within margin, you would say.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. But yeah, I mean, the point is that you have to have another perfect block, I think, for this, or then, like you said, the camouflage counter is going to come through. So I just wonder, but here's the second camouflage counter now getting added in.
3, 4, 5, 6 damage. And we're going to start digging for those mutant machines.
Yeah, I think those are the only assets we're playing, right? It's Cerritos, Military Airship, and Mutant Machine
And
main
3
board.
mutant machines,
Yeah, so Mutant Machine in the card pool now, and all of a sudden, this attack and the next attack we play
Here's
will
5/5.
just be lethal.
And so, yeah, I think George is going to have to, he's going to have to force the aerial Goblin Bolt to get flipped over and use the barrier shield. But yeah, I think if Wub sticks 2 attacks into the card pool, and he certainly will, I think it's going to be all she wrote for George.
Yeah, taking a look at our discard pile, seeing our options, what we might be checking, what we'd be looking at. We've removed so many cards already because of the cycle and all of our...
And our Bing Bonds.
Yeah, they removed themselves as cost. And so now even counting cards in our deck, seeing what the likelihood is, like, hey, it's just a world where I can maybe block this with a good block mod and just checking well. Because like you said, you can't just press the barrier enhance button, or barrier shield enhance button.
Maybe
because
he needs a second barrier shield. He's deciding on whether to use the latent skill for. Because he does have 3 in hand. He could feasibly discard 2 and Yahtzee into barrier shield plus the right zone. And then he could use 2 barrier shields on this.
Do you take that risk then, where you discard 2 cards and then it gets canceled? Though?
It's your canceling the latent skill.
And
you
have
can't
one
do that.
card.
You can't do that there. Sorry,
okay.
I forgot latent skill is discard 2 for cost.
Yeah,
unlike the most recent versions of that effect.
Not your meeting Hanj of today, you know.
Okay, so we're gonna go through the motions of.
And checking a 3 on it also feels bad because you have to actually tap 1 foundation to pass the enhance that just gets canceled anyway. And then here comes the Inspiring Song. We'll see what he chooses. And now it means we can press the latent skill button. So it's the opposite order, but the same result of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
One of which being the loss of consciousness, but it's 1 enhance late because the Inspiring Song is gone.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that it's safer to. It would have been, you would want to do it while the barrier shield's in hand because you could confirm it.
Yeah.
But now you've committed and you said, oh, well, I tried. He played to his outs,
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
played to his outs. The 2 camouflage counters are going to go on top of the deck. And this is the most insane board state to play the Cerritos, because you get to put 1 on the bottom of the deck, draw the other one, and then stack a 5.
Yeah, and you're still going to have +2 to your check to do so. And so having already used, again, Webb showing the finesse with this deck, right, is that once you even use the Devilgen response, it's okay. You can still find ways to cheat the check of your deck and still pass them while not having the 3 check on top of your deck. And so that's game 1 going to Wub.
Yeah, this is the first time. I've seen George play a lot just because I was hanging around, and he was playing during breaks, and I saw him on stream, and he's turned 2 every time he's won.
Oh.
Every single time.
And then this time, just not the cards in hand.
Sometimes that happens when you stuff your deck with all sorts of cards that don't do anything on the board, right?
Yeah.
They're there to be milled with your character or discarded with latent skill. Sometimes you draw them and you just got not even like dead hand, like, oh man, I didn't draw.
It's like a do nothing hand.
They literally do nothing. You advance your board state in terms of the amount of foundations you can tap, but they're not doing much. The only relevant cards, or the cards that had relevant text, were Dark Ward, and Wub had 2 pieces of interaction, right? And so even with your attempts to interact from hand using Barrier Shield was not enough because of Aerial Goblin Bolt. So a this Devilgen deck specifically, right, has tools to deal with the 2 big places where you could possibly try to interact over the course of that turn.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think he played to his outs. He tried as he could, it wasn't like Wub had the craziest draws ever either, right? I thought it was a fairly straightforward,
No.
regular game.
And remember, even that turn that we just won with for Wub, it was still a setup again, right? Remember, we used the Ceratops, saw the double equipment heist reveal,
Right.
add one to our hand. So, even giving the information to George, like, hey, I've got this non-block in my hand, but
Look
it
what
does
just got
mean
sleeved.
if you pass it back to me, then I'm going to have access to the equipment heist. But, as we see some of these cards coming in, we saw the Hero's Upbringing coming
Yeah.
in. We're seeing a couple copies of that's the promo
Driven
of
by Retribution.
Yeah, Driven by Retribution, which is
Yeah.
great for getting these problematic cards out of the card pool that Devil Jin does,
Yeah.
as well as just getting rid of the equipment heist.
The equipment heist specifically, when we were interviewing Wub last round after he won, he said the Driven Retribution was there for the mirror.
Yeah.
I thought he might bring it in for Godzilla. He said, "No, I don't really care that much about the City Rampage. What I care about is the mirror and backup decks because it does hit
Yeah.
a card in their stage, right?"
Correct.
But yeah, so you see two of them in George's deck specifically for this sort of matchup, and he's also got. I remember talking about it yesterday. The 4 activate the coordinates,
The
right? So
backup decks.
really hating on the backup decks, right? But yeah, Driven by Retribution, if it gets built, right, you would need to open with a Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken, right?
Yeah.
And if you have, and this is the thing that, as a guy who likes to play defensive characters with defensive setups and a lot of 2 and 3 difficulty foundations, you have to, if you're playing against something like a Vast Hybrid, if you're playing, you need to have so many threats on your board that there's no right decision.
Correct.
Right? And so if you have Driven by Retribution and Dark Wards, and you have your Marley's Warriors, and if you have so many of those pieces, it becomes a kind of a catch-22. You will have some of them live. So for guys at home, if you're like me and you really want to play, a slower, more measured game, you can do it. It's just you got to feel comfortable with losing some of those pieces and just playing tons of redundancy.
And you ready? I'll even hit you with the other side. I've been somebody that's typically had more success as someone who wants to play slower decks and control decks, but I have the most success playing aggro decks, even characters like Porco, but
Sure.
making sure that the cards in my deck still have relevant defensive text as well, because
Yep.
the aggro 7 hand size kind of format or formula is your character and the attacks in the deck should already be doing all the heavy lifting.
Right.
What if it's like the Tim Keefe approach, where all the foundations in your deck are the point and clicks interaction for your opponent that make your opponent struggle to defend against you and then still give you a fighting chance against other aggressive decks like this Devil Jin?
Yeah, there are things that I like to call two-way cards. And oh wow! And so Wub actually put in the Driven by Retribution, which I like because you
Yeah.
get to get rid of those teaming with the Attack Titans.
Yeah, choice cards that Porco wants to pick up.
So here I was talking about Driven Retribution in the Porco deck, but it's also good in Wub's deck. It's something that he's saying, even though I'm a 5-hander and my foundation count really matters, it matters more being able to say no, especially going second.
Yeah, and one of the other cards we built, short-lived promotion. So for one of these turns, we're not actually going to be a
We're
5-hander.
going to be a 6-hander. This is one I remember the other Calvin, right? Calvin Tejan was talking about being kind of like, I can't believe nobody's playing this in Godzilla.
Yeah.
Right? And we saw EJ did play it last match, and it is present in Calvin's deck. I agree. This is the best point to draw cards is the beginning of the turn.
Absolutely.
As somebody who played a lot of Future Charge, that's pretty close to the beginning of the
As
turn.
close as you can
I had to
get.
play it, but the best time to do it is at the beginning of the turn because you have the full knowledge of what you're going to be doing, right? If you draw in the middle of the turn, right? I played a lot of Mikasa. You draw a ton of cards, and I've talked about how I don't like 5-divs in the deck because I draw in the middle of the turn. I don't want to play them.
Yeah.
And so that's the sort of anyway. Let's get back into the game.
Well, so other key pieces we've had, George not being able to do a turn 2 offensive like you said,
Yeah.
but instead what's going to be happening is George did build a key card in this matchup, which is Forcing Surrender. You're also able, not just with Driven by Retributions, to get those kind of stuff out of there, but you're able to use Forcing Surrenders to get rid
Kick
of
it out of
equipment
the
heist.
purple.
But of course, Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken coming down, we're going to commit and freeze one of those Driven by Retributions, so that Wub says, I'm the one with this card, I'm going to play with it, you are not allowed to use yours against me.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool, a duel sort of over this
The
three
fire symbol
difficult-
attune.
Yeah, it's really neat. And Devil Jin himself, I think it's Evil, Fire, and Chaos
Yeah,
to Porco's Fire Death.
correct.
So both of them, like you said, having that fire attune. Okay, and George, again, just going for the blocks where he can. Loss of consciousness and I'm with you. Although they do nothing in stage and nothing really in hand, they only do stuff when they get discarded. They do have 2 high and 2 low blocks, respectively. Yeah. So they're not so bad to feel like you're gripping onto. But here we go. We've got a camouflage counter being played, which means that if this one hits, you could potentially put 2 cards on top of your deck.
Yeah, I think we're debating the Devil Jin response here. We did check a 3 here, the attack, which means we're allowed to use it.
It would add 6.
Yeah, it's because currently on a 6, and we checked a 3, so I think we're just making the decision to tap 3 cards sideways.
Yeah. You may want it to be able to guarantee a build later, perhaps, especially since you've got okay. We had +1 to the check. We had +1 to the check, so we only have to tap 2. We're gonna
okay, sweet.
Yeah, we're gonna ready one with heavy.
Capture the target is gonna get ready. We have 3 cards in our card pool, or 3 attacks in our card pool specifically, and then now we're gonna use our Devil Jin Enhance to shove in something in from our discard pile, and it is going to be that aerial Goblin Bolt to maybe dissuade anything like a Barrier Shield Enhance or any defensive trick that we might have. I guess I haven't been looking enough at George's hand to figure out if we even have an option like that.
I don't think I saw it in the opening hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so last game,
have one.
Sort of the story, we do have a Barrier Shield in hand?
Yeah.
Okay, well, certainly not going to be able to do that unless we use our latent skill. But we do see his hand has a lot more of those attacks than we did last time, right?
So it's just about surviving.
Yeah, I mean, last game he had to block with the teaming, right? And this time I think, he said he's probably going to say, hey, I lost because, going to play the Barrier Shield. Force the flip of the Goblin Bolt?
Maybe. We haven't done it yet, so...
Interesting. I mean, what else could you... You might be holding it to...
Oh, it's just a block. Never mind. It was actually made a high because of the Aerial Goblin Bolt.
Game 1 too.
That is exactly what happened in Game 1.
George really saying, no, I'm not going to be greedy with these. I need to save my life total now because they are, quote-unquote, easy to block with. Change the attack to high, by the way. And that's why it was a full block. Yeah,
and then we went and played another camouflage counter here from our hand directly on a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We actually checked a 6 on it with that equipment heist. Yeah. So still being able to keep that Driven by Retribution ready, important, and another stun 1 coming in with the camouflage counter. And if this one lands, we're going to be able to put both of the camouflage counters on top of our deck from our card pool. Yeah. And we still have our Devil Jin response because Wub has held on to it this entire time.
Yeah, I mean, as George, you got to be hoping and praying for a good block. Okay, get rid of a Mighty Blitz from the top of the deck with our 1-man Inferno.
Yeah, now we're going to press the latent skill and discard 2.
Wow.
And so the question is...
Looking for the zone. Man, really valuing his life total here.
Yeah, the question is if we do this, he's like, I have an Aerial Goblin Bolt in my card pool.
Oh, he says no responses. No? I mean, that's the thing is, he has to discard for cost.
Yeah, so he already did. They're gone.
These cards are in the discard pile.
Yeah, and so I think we let it go through. These 2 cards are in our hand, so... holding on to the barrier or the Aerial Goblin Bolt maybe really
give him a take back.
Oh, okay. I thought they already pitched him.
He did. They entered the discard pile.
Okay,
that's fine.
Did we just pick him back up?
Yeah,
okay, sweet. Then we're fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, the Aerial Goblin Bolt here means that latent skill is unplayable essentially.
Yes.
This card ignores progressive, doing some speed calculations. You just need a low block to make this work. Again, this is one of the slower moves in the deck.
But here we go. We got 3 of these camouflage counters to respond with.
Just the 2. We're on 1, right? Yeah.
You can still respond with it, no?
Other attack deals damage.
Does it say other? Okay. Let's confirm. Yeah. Is Barrett the smartest boy alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Card pool, and so we're doing one of them. So right now we have +1 to our check, and we have now pressed the other one. So again, because of the Devil Jin response, we can check one of them to go play a card. The question is, do we have another attack? And we do.
Teaming,
We have a teaming in our hand. So when we go to play the teaming, we will check this first one, and it's actually a 5 check, but you will still use the Devil Jin response to take the other camouflage counter off of the top of your deck.
Yeah.
And then, hey, look at that. Because it's in our discard pile, we can shove in the same camouflage counter, and you can do the same thing again and stack the other 2 that are on there if this teaming lands.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. And I don't think we had enough foundation or any other cards in the discard pile to change the zone. We can certainly change it with Devil Jin.
Correct. So, and another whopping 7 damage, like you said, plus the 5 it comes with.
Listen, George made a mistake, right? He kind of jumped the gun and showed what he had in his hand, right? And so you can use that knowledge, right?
Yeah.
You did give the give back, but you did announce I don't have any low blocks.
I think the biggest downside here is that the camouflage counter in Wub's hand is unplayable. I don't think we can physically pass it because there are too many cards in our hand. But we are going to be knocked down.
He'd be checking a 6, right? So 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be on an 8. Okay, you can't pass it.
If we double stack again with the 2 camouflage counters.
There's 3 in the card pool.
Oh, whoa. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, he'd be checking a 6 on one of the goblin
Oh,
bolts.
we didn't do both.
Okay, flipping to cancel the latent skill.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we just did it now, I think.
Yes.
Or no, not latent skill. We try to play driven by retribution. Is that what happened? I don't know what happened.
No, we played an enhanced from somewhere.
Something. I missed it because we were talking about the card pool.
It's okay. We did have the block for this one, though.
Was
so
it the right zone?
I guess we made it a high.
Or well, okay, let's go look at the block zone on this Jaw Titans bike. It's a mid.
Oh, so we just didn't
Change the zone. After you had knowledge in hand, I feel like that's an oof.
Or we're taking half. I don't know if we just haven't done damage yet. But regardless, like you said,
I don't know what. There's something going on, right? They got to figure out.
they're doing some math.
Certainly. Oh, maybe he's figuring out what dealt damage this turn, like which goblin bolt.
Yeah, you're right.
damage.
I guess we kept it a mid. We didn't do the zone change from Devil Gen, so that full block coming through here with the Jaw Titans bite.
That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it means, like you said, we could have responded with all of those camouflage counters. You would have been checking a 3, but it actually would have been a 6.
Check the hand cam. That's
We've got gas. We
Yeah.
can play.
Mighty
We can.
Blitz is and a teaming is a huge deal. Here.
Yeah,
It's-
kicking things off too with the flash fire.
But I've seen 2 loss of consciousnesses. Wow, I've seen 2 loss of consciousnesses hit the discard pile already, and there's no way to destroy the cards on board. No frightening calm available, so those ones are not going to be available to us. Using Porco, hitting a whole lot of attacks off the top of the deck, giving us optionality when we do end up playing this Mighty Blitz. Milling with One Man Inferno, milling with Porco, milling with the Flash Fire Fist, Hell Spider, or as my good friend Andrew likes to call it, Tongue Spider.
Oh, because it's like a little mini tongue
Whip. Yeah, it
I
has a
understand.
tongue whip.
Plus 1 speed, all you're saying, it's just from its own effect, not from a card pool being in your opponent's card. I think I figured out the game state because I thought we had a forcing surrender.
You see the Driven by Retribution used?
Yes, I did. Yeah, but the point also being was that I think the enhance that got canceled by that aerial goblin bolt last turn was the forcing surrender that we had to use defensively as George, and Calvin said no because I need you to not block this, but it ended up being still and working out. But yeah, Driven Retribution working, getting that one out of the way, and now debuilding one from George. But this Mighty Blitz here is going to add in this Jaw Titan's Bite to give +1 damage to all of our attacks for the rest of the turn. And now there's a high attack in our card pool, so that also means we're going to get some bonus damage from the Blitz ability on the Mighty Blitz.
Yeah. So a lot happened just there for everybody at home. The Hell Spider did damage.
Yep.
Frightening Calm was used to bring up the capturing the target, so that wasn't an option for George to use later in turn because, again, we're on razor-thin margins. And also, you need for Porco to have 4 attacks in your card pool.
Yeah.
So it means it's going to be a little harder for George.
4 cards.
For cards. Oh, is it cards?
It's just cards, yeah.
Okay.
You're allowed, and that's why he still
You are
works
allowed
if you weave
if you
in the
put
barrier
in the
shields
barrier
and
shields.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you have 4, or it is attacks.
It's attacks. Yeah, he just gets to put the. Yeah, it's just
Oh.
by the time you're putting the barrier shields in, you often have.
You're already
those 4
there.
attacks,
You're right. And you have to play another one
Yeah.
to keep going. You're right.
But
okay.
yeah, this card does add towards progressive, and if we're able to block and preserve our life total, right? Because I don't know, Mighty Blitz is mighty fast.
It is 5 speed.
Yeah, but we're gonna add in the teaming that we checked and draw a card just for the cantrip, just to dig a little bit more, because we know that.
But the second Mighty Blitz is going to be able to counter
we're gonna
exactly.
get that in
That
the
check
card
was
pool.
huge, to be honest, because
If
it-
he checked the 3, there
it was essentially over because you'd have to tap out everything if you wanted to do it. But now, because of this being a second Mighty Blitz, that Driven by Retribution that did get rid of an attack out of our card pool to maybe stop us from getting to 4, double Mighty Blitz says, no, I'm going to get to 4 no matter what. And so now we're going to add in that card, like you said.
plays I'm with you to get another 2 damage out of it.
Yeah, going to get some more. And so all of a sudden, we're very quickly approaching lethal range. And then with the Porco Mill 3, being able to add one of your cards into the card pool to your hand and then having to pick something in your hand and add it back into your card pool, as long as we can pass the next check, that would be enough. And when I see the teaming,
So
I
he
can only
picked
imagine.
up the Jaw Titan's Bite and put it directly back into the pool because he has the teaming in his hand already.
And it does refresh the static ability on it.
Yeah. Oh, gross.
It leaves and then comes back and it gives 1 damage to your moves again.
Yeah, but I think this means we're going to die to this teaming, which is on a 1, 2, 3,
5,
4, 5, 6. And yeah, so he checks the 5. Even if he had checked the
3, you tap out for
you
it.
tap out, but you wouldn't get
You wouldn't get enough.
you
It
wouldn't
would
get
have been
enough.
lethal, so it
Okay.
was still another
Yeah.
important check.
Yeah.
And even now, what you're allowed to do on the attack that is going to be for lethal, you're allowed to flip Porco over, and then your attacks get an additional 2/2.
Yeah, so they're going through the motion saying, hey, I'm not even going to cycle, dude. This is what I'm going to do with it. Do you have interaction for it?
Yeah,
And they go
absolutely. And
through.
it presents lethal,
Yeah.
and then Calvin, I think, is going to make him do it. He's like, okay, well, I could have an answer. You know, it could be, I don't know if Calvin's playing things like Runaway or, you know, such like
I
that.
did not see a runaway in the deck, but, I mean, I don't know. I like making my opponent do things.
I mean, you should play it out. I mean, I want to see exactly, you know, how much damage it was. I want to know how much more I did over your life total, you know, because sometimes that's a little fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to cycle our 10.
Man, remember when Devil Jin could shove in Goblin Bolts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still can, just not on defense.
Yeah, I mean, on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be a much different conversation for sure. But now it's just two aggro decks playing against each other,
Yep.
and trying to do as much interaction as they can on their earn turn. You know, George using things like Loss of Consciousness to do the interaction on board, and then Calvin having things to have like answers to blitzes and enhances. But yeah, now this going up to 7 damage, which is not lethal just quite yet.
He's going to put in a Dark Ward into the card pool, flip
And
over
then
Porco.
flip over 2/2 additional, which puts it up to 9. So any piece of damage reduction would make this not lethal. Oh, I understand. There could be something like a massive mute machine in hand for a deflect 3,
Deflect, yeah.
but we don't have the answer to it.
Nah.
And so that is going to be game 2 going to George, and we've got ourselves a match.
Okay, so that was turn 2 for George? No, it was turn
No.
3. It was turn 3.
I think it was actually turn 4.
Okay, so I've seen it. We've seen everything now.
2, 3. No, it was 3. You're right. It
was
has
3.
been everything.
It was turn 3. We've seen George go beyond turn 2 and still win. And for those at home, if you I know you may not have seen Jaw Titan flip over, but when he does flip over, it's a kind of a
As real text.
crazy interaction because he gets the 1/1 from being on the front side, and when you flip over, it immediately gets the static 2 speed and 2 damage. So functionally, on one move for the turn, you get 3/3. You no longer get to pick up any cards, but for a single move, you can really push through something big, and oftentimes it's the move that kills. You see, there specifically, it was like
Exactly.
you said, exactly lethal.
Razor thin.
Yeah, I'd say it was on a tightrope.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's the same. And remember, also, you can seal every block that your opponent plays. So
Right.
things, breakers,
Yeah.
things like Showdown or Aries Smile. Like this character has things to fight those tools, but you have to go to the backside. And once you do go to the backside, you do lose that other offensive trick that the Porco deck does.
Yeah, the
right? You
pickup.
no longer get to do that thing, and there's no way of going back to the other side.
It's just not happening. That's true.
But going to game 3, do you think we'll just see something similar to game 1 where Wub was able to go through? But
See, Phil Birch and Dawson are going to go in the top 4. So Phil Birch taking over Matt Childress.
wow, 16th seed, climbing his way through the tournament, having to always go second. But Rodan is one of those characters that really does get a benefit from the like partial mulligan.
Yeah.
So you can really win game 1 going second. But now having to play against another sort of aggressive deck. I mean, Phil is climbing the gauntlet right now of aggro decks, of Devil Jin, who we're kind of witnessing right now.
Yep.
George Rangel right here playing Porco. He's going to have to play against a Porco that we will see next round because we're going to stream both top 4 matches.
Yep.
But you know, right now, Battle of the Aggro decks. I have that's my only horse left in the race is because I said something defensive would win, and Phil is my only hope.
Man. Okay, so seeing this hand, I think you take the 3 build. Yeah, even though it has Equipment Heist and the Cerritos, I wouldn't be upset about it.
No, I don't think so at
Especially
all.
when 2 of those builds are capture the target, and the third is the short-lived promotion.
It's basically 5 foundations.
Yeah, it is functionally 5 foundations, unless you try to do something really big, right?
Oh, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Luckily, this deck doesn't really play anything over a 5 difficulty.
It does not, yeah.
Because we have to play real progressive sometimes.
Well, what if he draws 3 teaming with the Attack Titans? Though?
Oh, then we might be in trouble.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't even think he plays 3. Oh, he plays 4. Okay, yeah, I was right. He doesn't play 3. He plays 4.
You have to find him for sure. But, you know, having that equipment heist to maybe do some turn 2 action, we definitely saw a crazy turn 2 from Calvin last match in top 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it comes down to whether or not you have that equipment heist or not.
All right, here's George. George has got 2 Marley's Warriors, a Latent Skill, a Barrier Shield in hand, and we're going to see him go for those. Oh, okay.
2, 3,
2
4
Marley's Warriors. Okay.
on a 4.
4.
Is it
Okay.
good? Is
Saying, hey, you can freeze one of them, but you can't freeze them both. Okay. Gets
Yeah.
a 5 build plus a Barrier Shield in hand.
Short-lived promotion says +1 to our hand size after reviewing that Ceratos. So we're looking for some orange ones.
Find a Superfly Stomp.
That is a good enough one to start the thing, to start the turn off, and you will also have the check from the equipment heist, and then also you'll be able to discard 1, draw 1 because of the effect on the form for the equipment heist. So this could turn into more, but it's really not a ton to play with. So I think, Webb's going to make the call to build.
Gonna see if you're going to rely on your bulk, build those 2 exam strategies.
And then we did check a 3 on the second one, so we're going to also be able to get our Devil Gem response and check it and draw another card.
Yep.
Playing things pass through walls on a 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
Sparring Song on a 5.
Love it.
6.
Didn't tap a single foundation to build all of these. Became a 6-hander and then used our response to actually have a 7th card. So sitting very pretty here for Calvin on defense. And now asking George to draw up for turn and say, can you deal 35?
Let's see he's going to do the 35 on 2.
Looking at our discard pile.
Okay.
We're pressing the Marley Warriors. We said we have enough stuff to get going.
Well, he's only got 2 attacks, but he can certainly try to find them with the latent skill and others, right?
Yeah, we checked the 4, obviously, for the Marley's Warriors. Adding this Jaw Titan bite in, which means he's going to get even more damage, already representing a lot of the health for Devil Jin, and +1 to all of our moves later on. And there it is, latent skill. We're going to discard. We're thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm going to assume this is the... Unless Calvin had some way to seal it, I think he's just thinking about what to discard or whether he will discard.
In the math, right?
Yeah.
I think you have to get 2 attacks here. He's like, do I mill 1 first? Do I press the button? Looks like we're going to go for the latent skill first.
At this point in the game, it's so marginal that, I think here you hit the Inspiring Song. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Respond.
No milling early on.
That's not frozen. That's sealed. Silly goose. What do we draw? Hell Spider plus?
Plus a foundation, I believe.
Okay.
I think it was a Lust for Battle.
Yeah, but 1 attack was all you really needed to get this ball rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. As we now mill more I'm With Yous, this is getting very, very scary for damage-wise. We're at 10 damage.
6 speed for 10?
Yeah.
I'm with you again, sure.
Yeah, it's just you have to use them when they hit the discard pile. There's nothing really you can really say about when or if they show up.
Yep.
But it looks like we're going to eat it straight to the face. Calvin going down to 24, 11 damage straight to the face. Hell Spider on a 4, 5, 6. We checked a 6 because of the Marley's Warriors. Mill 2 on the effect from itself for double Lust for Battle, giving -2 to Calvin's next check to play a card.
Functionally 3 speed.
Yeah. And then the mill 3 here from Porco to give 1/1, but no extra effects there. What's the base damage on this guy? Isn't it like 6 or something?
I think it's 3 high 6. Yeah, let's go confirm. Flash Fire Fist. Hell Spider is a 3 high 6. So it's for 8 at the moment. It's got 5 speed, but remember there's 2, and I think we're going to chump block here, saying, hey, 8 is not enough to make me really balk. He's deciding whether or not he's going
7,
to...
8, -2 to our check, 3.
I think you just have to chump block to get rid of the minus check from the Lust for Battles.
Yeah, it makes sense. And so those are now officially gone, but Calvin is now at 16. Teaming with the Attack Titan has begun. It's on a 5. We checked a 4. And now with this capture the target, we're going to be able to immediately ready that foundation that we just got.
The question is going to be, did George have a barrier shield in hand? Because he does not have a forcing surrender to discard a card from the card pool.
He did. He did on defense when we were thinking about if Webb was going to go in.
Okay.
So we have a non-prog to add into our card pool. And our mill 3 here from Porco.
No hits.
But we're going to be able to pick up a Mighty Blitz, and we can add a card into our card pool. Oh, wait, I was wrong. Okay, I thought we definitely had one.
Shield.
But yeah, so we have to add in this
dicey.
foundation. And the Mighty Blitz is going to be very difficult to play.
I don't know what zone this is, because I do think we're at the point where you could change the zone.
Do you think you make it a mid because like the Mighty Blitz connected?
I think it's a toss-up, right? You're playing into a 5-hander who drew 2 extra cards in that turn.
Yeah,
and so here's the one. Here's the one. We're going to see if George can...
On a 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can tap everything but Porco.
Yeah, but this... If it gets blocked, it's, I mean, and with a full stage, I don't see it connecting.
I think it's really hard, right?
It's just on, you can't, this one's printed mid, correct?
It is.
Mighty Blitz is printed mid. There's no way to change the zone.
I think we're doing the math too, where if the choice here is Porco enhance, mill the 3, pick up the teaming, transform.
He's certainly going to do that.
Yeah, because we're only going to be able to play 1 more move.
Yeah. But no matter what, Devil Jin is going to be checking at least a 4 because he will have his response, right?
Correct.
So if we do the math here, right, it's got 6 speed, right? Right now, it's going to get 2 more speed from the character, got 1 more speed from itself.
I think we have a different issue here, Bromley.
What?
I think one of the cards in Webb's hand is a non-block. The schemes don't have blocks on them.
It does have deflect, which is not enough for this one, right?
It does
It's at
not have
9?
deflect.
It's at 8. Okay.
So this one isn't lethal, but regardless, it's like, so this one you're allowed to eat, I guess, and you're allowed to hopefully have the right block zone for the last attack, which would be a teaming.
Did he not use Porco's ability and flip over?
I guess we did not. Have we even pressed the button yet?
If it's not, okay, there it is. And then now I assume we're going to turn it over and make it lethal. Get the +2/+2, right? And
maybe. I mean, that would be the like again the razor
it
thin
would
decision.
go to 10, but like you said, the deflect would mean that we don't die.
The schemes do not have deflect.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said he had a massive mutant machine.
No, it's the equipment heist because we were considering going and trying to go in. I thought.
Well, it's a mid attack, so if the other card in his hand has a block, he will be able to partial it.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
The question, and like you said too, is this one's not lethal. You're also just allowed to eat this one.
Yeah.
Man, it's going to be really close. 7 mid, 8, and like you said, it is 100% blockable. We have a full ready stage. Any block, I think, is playable.
Even if we flip over, it'll be 9 speed, right?
9.
So with even a 3 mid, it would be 12. You check a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You would tap completely out and get there.
I'm just sorry.
It's printed 5 speed. It's got 2 speed one from Mighty Blitz and one from Porco.
Yeah, and I was also trying to think too that even then, if you play a teaming and it does miraculously pass, it's not even lethal as well.
Right.
As long as something gets fully blocked.
Well, teaming would be on a what? 7?
If
6?
3
Oh, we do have
attacks.
+1 from the.
Yeah, so we'd have to like check like a 6.
Mm.
And even then, right, it's a 5. You'd give it the 2/2. You don't get the mill anymore, so it's just the 2. It goes to 7, and then with the jaw time bite, it goes to 8.
Only 3 attacks in card pool, so it's a 2 difficulty. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's impossible.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No, there's 5 cards in card pool. 2 + 5 is 7. Okay, you're right. You can
Check a 5. It comes to 6. Turn Porco sideways, right? But regardless, that move would only be for 8 damage. It's not actually for 9.
Right.
So again, this is very close, but we are going to flip over, making this one scarier. This one is officially now in the lethal zone. Webb has to do something about this one, and then we're going to go
If
for a
it's
block.
full block.
The Superfly Stomp block is not a mid.
It's a low.
So we're going to half this one, and then we're going to pray that we don't check a 5.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be very close here. On a 2, on a 7, we did the math already. We check a 5, 6, 7 handshake, and that is game 3 and the match going to George Rangel, proceeding to the finals with Porco Galliard. Devilgen has been eliminated.
Wow, what a run, though.
I had to figure it out. I was like jumping through the math, and I was like, if you flip over and you check a 5, depending on what the block is that Halvin had, that's it. The other card didn't have a block on it because of the scheme.
Sometimes it'd be like that, buddy.
Non-blocks are back, baby.
Well, I'm just saying, George did yet again turn 2 his opponent.
That was true.
It happened yet again. We're going to see Porco going to the final. We may even see 2 of them in the finals.
We could. Rodan is for sure the only non-aggro deck remaining in the tournament, and so we're going to be able to see Phil Birch soon try and take on a different Porco player as well, but I think we're going to be able to come through.
You're good, man.
And we'll have George come over and talk with us for a little bit. Hello, George. I know you're probably full of emotion right now. Yeah, we're going to get the camera up in a second. Congratulations. You've made your finals appearance. You're getting a lot of points no matter what happens today. And that last turn was crazy because it came down all the way to, you had to check a 5 at the end there for that teaming with the Attack Titan, flipping over right at that exact moment. And if he had a mid block,
I lost.
It was it.
I just gambled.
Yeah.
My thought process was I think he had 9 or 10 mid blocks showing on his discard and field. So I just I figured he's either holding a heist or he doesn't have the mid block. And if he blocks one, if he outblocks it, he dies to the other one. So I just checked the 5s and I won the game.
Yeah, well, sadly, here's the thing. You ready? If it was a mid block on that attack,
I just stop and I lose.
It's over.
It's fine. Yeah, I just stop
because
and I lose.
because the teaming's off by 1.
Yes.
It was crazy thin. I've been saying razor thin margins all day, and that's what these aggro decks are kind of doing. And it was such a different turn because that was turn 2. Bromley was saying earlier in the tournament, a lot of the wins we've seen from you are these kind of turn 2 aggro effects from the Porco deck. Meanwhile, game 1, no attacks. no attacks, no attacks.
I thought it was over. Honestly, I lost first game and I thought it was GG. And then second game, I saw the line and I got it. Third game, it took a while because I had to draw one more attack because I had 3 attacks, like maximum.
Yeah.
And I drew the other one. So worth it. Like,
Absolutely. I'm sure, too, that Gavin Kale is going to be eating his words because he made the choice to not...
I told him, bring Porco, and he's bringing Devilgen. Like, you betrayed your guy, and you lost.
Bromley, any questions or thoughts as well? Or
Nah, man, good luck. Good
Thank
run.
you, thank you.
You're going to have a big break. We're going to do the other stream match, so
Yeah.
you've got a little bit of some time, of course. Take a break, cool off. I know the emotions.
Yeah,
you
it's
were
pretty big,
popped
pretty big.
off. You were
Yeah.
excited.
I mean, it's really cool to go from judging a lot of events, right, to
Yeah.
this being kind of one of the, I mean,
8-month hiatus. 8-month
Yeah.
hiatus of the game,
Yeah.
and then I
And
just
so-
figured I'd compete.
making
And just
a
like
deep run.
that, you're one match away from auto-locking your day 2 at Worlds.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Pretty sick.
That's how it works, though. Well earned. It's going to be a great finals match for you. But for now, cool off, have a good time. And we're going to cut away for a small break while we get our other people ready. And we're going to be back for the other top 4 match here shortly. So don't go anywhere. But congrats, George.
Can I get a quick shout out to my locals?
Absolutely.
My goat Salvador, Tommy, Liz, everybody who came with me. You guys are all the greats.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Shout out to them. We'll be back shortly, guys.